The Bombay High Court has granted bail to Sadhvi Pragya Singh Thakur, accused of plotting the September 2008 blast in Malegaon in Maharashtra, in which 7 people died. Another accused, Lieutenant Colonel Shrikant Purohit, has, however, been denied bail. The two have been in jail for 8 years now. The Sadhvi Pragya was moved to a hospital recently. It's, of course, raised questions once again on the investigation, whether it was shoddy or not, and more importantly, the political influence over all such terror cases.
8 years after Sadhvi Pragya Thakur was arrested in the 2008 Malegaon blast case, she will walk out of jail. Granting her bail, the Bombay High Court said, even if the ATS says that the offences against Sadhvi Pragya are grave and serious, there are no reasonable grounds to believe that charges against her are prima facie true. Citing her health, the court added Sadhvi Pragya is suffering from cancer and has been infirm and cannot even walk without support. She cannot be treated for cancer at an Ayurvedic hospital in Bhopal.
We have been maintaining since start that she is innocent and she is entitled for bail. The NIA had recommended a discharge and now the Honorable High Court has granted bail to her.
जल्दी से हम उनको इलाज करके स्वस्थ करा करके जल्दी से जल्दी समाज के बीच लाएंगे.
In May last year, the NIA watered down the case against Pragya, saying the case against her along with 5 other accused was not maintainable because of lack of evidence, and most witnesses against Pragya had already retracted their statements. The only thing that connected Pragya to the case was a motorcycle owned by her, which was used as a vehicle for the blast. That too, the NIA claimed, was not enough to establish her culpability, as it was used by another accused. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, who is also a key accused, was denied bail by the High Court. The NIA opposed his bail, saying that Colonel Purohit was a key member of the criminal conspiracy in the Malegaon blasts and released funds for buying weapons and explosives. 6 people died and 101 people were injured in the Malegaon blasts. The question everyone is asking is whether Sadhvi Pragya's bail will eventually lead to her acquittal. With camera person Vinayak Parker in Mumbai, this is Anand Zanane for NDTV.
Well, let me introduce my panel to you right away. I'm joined by Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. In the Delhi studios, Rakesh Sinha, RSS Charak, and N.R. Vasan, former Director General of the NIA, Shaina NC, the spokesperson of the BJP, with us, as is Ajay Kumar, spokesperson for the Congress, and Milind Joshi Rao, President Abhinav Bharat, also with us this evening. Thanks all so much for your time. Sanjay Hegde, to you first. For the last couple of years, this case has been seeing accusations of go slow. We've heard talk of, we've seen all that flip-flop that's been happening, witnesses turning hostile. To all those asking this evening if it's ever possible in such cases to know just what happened, who was behind them, what would you say?
Well, the case when it comes to trial in a court is about which side tells the better story with the evidence to back it up. I somehow am still uncomfortable with a system like ours where trials seem to drag on endlessly. I am not speaking of Sadhvi Pragya or Colonel Purohit alone. You take any terrorism or bomb blast related case, the trial drags on endlessly. People who on suspicion of involvement in it, whether as principal accused or as conspirators, they continue to be in jail because not many courts grant bail. Long ago, the Supreme Court said that bail is an exception. However, we seem to have come to a situation where the man spends almost his entire sentencing period inside as an under trial. The trial then finally concludes, and irrespective of whether he is innocent or guilty, he has spent the time.
That's right.
To that extent, and that extent alone, I am glad that Sadhvi Pragya has granted. We want similar bail being granted in all long pending matters like this.
Okay.
And let me tell you, there are hundreds of them all over the country.
Okay. That's an interesting point. You're saying, at least as
not
far
all
as
Sadhvis.
the technical process of
Please
bail is concerned,
extend
you're
this
saying
to
that just for
everyone.
that, because people are languishing in jails all across the country, just for that, they should get bail. Interesting point that you've raised there. Mr. Vasan, as someone who I've heard you describe yourself as a lifelong investigator, how do you really see this. Just see what has happened here. The focus has been on the investigation, not policing. Just where is the evidence? Why couldn't we wrap this up, put out what was known and finish this in time instead of dragging it to the point that now we're saying that better that they get bail instead of languishing endlessly without us knowing what the way forward is?
See, let me at the outset state that the investigation has been a casualty in this country for quite some time now. Our standards of investigations are going down, which is very evident from the fact that many of the cases after a long trial and an acquittal. There is a need for the investigation standards to be improved. Even if you see in this case, the blast took place in 2008.
Right.
The case was transferred to NIA in 2011, August somewhere mid 2011.
Right.
Now, you know, after 3 years, how do you expect another investigation agency to collect evidence, to gather evidence? They can only do the postmortem, means they are not in a position to collect the evidence, because by the time all evidence is gone. Now, the entire responsibility of collecting the evidence was on the first responding agency or the first investigation agency which took up the case. And second thing, as Sanjay Hegde said, I agree with him that the unfortunately trials are taking enormous long time in various cases, which results in you know, the witnesses turning hostile, witnesses losing their memory, which hurts the trial of these cases. Now, on the other hand, if you see some terrorist cases like Dilsukh Nagar blast case which took place in Hyderabad, the trial was on fast track. The culprits have been convicted. They have been convicted with the life sentence or I think death sentence, if my memory serves
So
me
again,
right.
the speed at which sort of the
Speed
wheels of
and
justice
the quality
really move.
of investigation
Absolutely.
is extremely important.
Right, quality. Rakesh Sinha, coming at this point, those who are looking at what's happened today and saying, but there was evidence in the beginning. Wait, just before, of course, the NIA came in and we look at how can they really start again after 3 years. There was evidence, there was, her scooter was used, there was reported to be also proof of her presence at meetings in Faridabad and Bhopal where there was we were told the conspiracy was hashed and details were laid out. Is it just the result of shoddy investigation that you believe that has led to this point?
First of all, Sadhvi Pragya was not given bail on a mercy ground. She was given she has been given bail because there was no evidence against her. Look, she was arrested in 2008 November. In 2008. Since 2008 from 2008 to 2014, it was UPA government. Two ministers of UPA government, one Shinde said saffron terrorism and Chidambaram Home Minister said Hindu terrorism. So, the entire government machinery was propounding the case of Hindu terrorism and Sadhvi Pragya was arrested at that time. What happened to them? That may be accused that one lawyer is being quoted that goes slow. That was after formation of the BJP government.
Yes.
For the last 6 years, they couldn't find any evidence that Sadhvi Pragya's name could be mentioned in the charge sheet. And you know, she lost her 10 valuable years in the jail without any evidence. When she, when she was arrested, 10 to 12 days she was kept in the illegal confinement. She was brought to Mumbai. She was illegal confinement 10 to 12 days. After that, she was arrested legally. She was arrested, and then there was a case of human rights violations. She recorded her evidence before the National Human Rights Commission in 2014 that she was compelled to listen pornographic recording. She was compelled to that. She was beaten up. Just let me finish. She was beaten up by the Maharashtra police. She was kept 24 days. She was not provided food. She was compelled to say that she was being forced to say that she had illicit relationship with her guru, a spiritual guru. These kind of human rights violations, I have not seen any debate on human rights violation on any TV channel.
All right.
I think this is the gross violation of human rights against Pragya
But
Thakur.
if you can just come back to the fact that there are many, of course, who are saying that there has been just so many flip-flops by investigating agencies. You're making the point that there was the UP in power, but then we also said that Rohini Salyan, the prosecutor in the case, said that she was told to really go slow after there was a new dispensation.
When she got realized, she was not getting extension, so out of frustration she had given that statement. That statement is a gross violation of her rules and regulations.
She's not here this evening.
No.
We just have her statement. But I'm going to get.
She has given a statement because she was knowing that she was not getting extension, further extension. That's why she had given the statement.
So she said that she, of course, couldn't bear it. She was called. She was told that they couldn't say it
my
openly, and
question
it was quite apparent. Okay, but she's not
what,
going to
what
defend
happened
herself.
6 years? 6 years.
Okay.
Natasha, 6 years.
Okay,
The
Ajay
UPA
Kumar, would you like to come in at this point? Of course, the fact is that there was one government, the case was going one way, in comes another government, and a few years later, we're told the case is going an entirely different way. From all the evidence and everything to connect her to the case and a prosecution, now there's bail, and that they said that they have absolutely no evidence or almost none.
You know, Natasha, the first question is, Mr. Rakesh Sinha, when he comes on a national TV, I expect him to show more restraint. They are the government. If they were false human rights violation, register a case, take action against those people. This nonsense which on the TV channel to continuously play story. Put your money where your mouth is. One sec. Let me complete, sir. Rakesh Sinha, sir, this is the problem with the RSS. Can you let others listen? RSS, Rakesh Sinha ji, RSS ka
Human Rights Commission.
You speak. You
don't know this.
You speak, sir.
You've made your point. You've made your point,
You
sir.
speak.
Yes, okay, Ajay Kumar.
You speak, no?
No,
I
said you are making a wrong statement, sir. You are a national spokesperson of the national party, and you are saying that she had not registered a case. National Human Rights Commission is a registered body.
Again, we are digressing.
Can I
We're just
complete?
digressing.
It is a constitutional body.
Sir.
I request you, please let him make his point. Go ahead, Mr. Sinha.
There's a problem with Mr. Rakesh. Natasha,
Yeah.
Natasha,
Let's
please ask the gentleman to keep himself little restrained. I really request you. Okay, so the question again is, if the RSS, which is the government in this country, if they find human rights violation, file a case. So let's not go to myths and fantasies about what happened. What Sanjay Agre said was correct. She should have got, has she got bail? That's okay with, she should have got bail. But his bleeding heart should feel for hundreds of thousands of people in the Indian prisons who are also should get bail. That they won't say. Second issue is, it is not a question of Sadhvi Pragya. It is the NIA which has become a Namo investigation agency. He says no guilt. They dropped the Maharashtra control of organized crime so that the evidence cannot be placed. They dropped those charges. Charge sheet was filed against Sadhvi Pragya. The witnesses, which was Ranveer Singh, is made a minister in Jharkhand. Mr. Colonel Purohit has got linkage with Sadhvi Pragya in terms of conspiracy.
6 years there was UPA government, sir. 6 years, Chidambaram and Shinde, two home ministers were propounding the case of saffron terrorism. What were you doing?
This is the problem. You sit in the TV studio, you don't listen. You don't listen, Mr. Sinha.
No, you are making all false statements.
Then you have the time to
if
speak
you want to be anti-Hindu,
then
you can be anti-Hindu, but you don't
Can you relax,
an innocent person.
Sinha ji, you run the... Mr. Sinha, either you let others speak or you speak. Natasha, I'll just finish off. I'll just finish off in 2 seconds. The question is that the NIA director is on contract, on extension. The NIA investigation agency has done everything possible to damage the... So the story is not Sadhvi Pragya getting bail. The story is the destruction and the independence of the NIA. If they believe that there is a case against the people who were troubling Sadhvi Pragya, file a FIR. But the NIA has destroyed evidence on the BS. And then Mr. Sinha comes and tells a fancy story here. Is Rohini Salyan wrong? Is the new prosecutor Russell wrong? Was Hemant Karkare wrong? Was everybody against them?
Okay.
So the question again is, why is the government of India destroying evidence?
Okay.
And that is the larger question.
Ajay Kumar ji, when two home ministers say that there was Hindu terrorism, what NIA would do? They had concocted this story. My question is, Sadhvi Pragya was taken in illegal confinement for 10 to 12 days. It's not the question
You made that point, Mr. Sinha.
Nobody could be arrested in illegal confinement.
Nobody
can be kept in illegal confinement.
Okay. I'd like to get the other panelists. Ajay Kumar, give me a moment. I'd like to get the other panelists. I know that Shaina has been trying to make a point. Go ahead, Shaina.
I just want to make 2-3 points, Natasha. First, forget for a minute that Sadhvi Pragya's name is Sadhvi Pragya. Imagine she's just a woman who is implicated in a case, who is put through illegal confinement, who goes on to being behind bars for 8 years of her life, loses every hope of living and is diagnosed with cancer. Nobody seems to be taking up this issue of a woman who's being wrongly implicated. You have the honorable courts coming up and saying prima facie there seems to be no evidence. And there you have the Congress trying to, play up this entire charade of saying that there is saffron terror and Hindu terror. Who gave them the right to even come up with this terminology? I think we need to understand that the Malegaon brass were extremely unfortunate in 2008. 8 years, wait, I didn't interrupt you, sir, please let me have my say. 8 years she was behind bars. Based on evidence, the honorable courts have come up with a mandate and a verdict. If you disagree with that, when the matter was sub judice, I think I have a tremendous respect for Rohini Salient as a prosecutor, but I really think this is the first time that you have had somebody coming up with a statement like this when you are part of the investigation of a particular case. So there seem to be lots of lacunas which need to be debated on. And at the end of the day, please view her as a woman who has been put through jail for 8 years and comes out with cancer with nobody even touching upon that. And nobody touching upon how the home ministers of the Congress regime constantly use words which are so demeaning. Terror is terror. It is
absolutely,
not
and I don't think there's any debating that.
It is not Hindu, it is not, no, but that is to be also debated in this particular case.
But I just want to make the point on the 2006, go back 2 years, the 2006 Malegaon case, you talk about all those people languishing, just look what happened to those young men there. Kumar Ketkar, come in at this point. I asked Sanjay Hegde right at the beginning of the program, but there are many who are asking that, do such terror probes end up inevitably being influenced by the dispensation of power? That seems to have happened here. One day we're told there is enough evidence. Soon after that, there isn't. There unending flip-flops. Will we ever know what happened?
Well, Natasha, we must recognize that right from day one, such cases are completely politicized, and politicized in the context of Hindutva lobby as well as anti-Hindutva lobby. Let us not ignore that fact that it is politicized right from the start. And in this particular case, let us not bring poor Pragya's cancer and other issues. There was enough evidence against her and against Purohit and many other people who are actually organizing terror tactics. And in Malegaon, about 8 or 10 Muslim youths who were arrested were completely acquitted later. And these people have not been fully acquitted. The charges are still there. And those charges, all of us in Mumbai who have seen the evidence know how much evidence they have. The question is, as Mr. Hegde said, it should have been sorted out earlier. But the fact is, right in the beginning, in the police department, in the home department, and in all the governments, there is a lobby which protects Hindutva forces, and that is how it gets politicized. Let us not ignore the politicization of each such terror case.
Mr. Kumar Ketkar, that's your own philosophy, which you have propagated debate after debate. Do you believe in something called the law and the judiciary? Do you believe that people do come up with verdicts based on evidence? Or would this case have dragged on for 8 years?
I request Kumar Ketkar to bring out all the charges against Pragya Thakur, go to the Supreme Court, appeal to the Supreme Court that Pragya Thakur is getting extra advantage of the NDA government. Mr. Ketkar, Pragya Thakur only charge was she sold her scooter as she herself did. When the investigation team came, she sold her sale deed. Mr. Ketkar, you are selling.
But for the longest time, that scooter was sort of held up as key pieces of evidence against her. They also had proof that she attended
my scooter.
Meetings in Faridabad.
Suppose you, Natasha, sold your scooter to me, then you are guilty or me.
Okay. I know, Ajay, you want to make a point.
Much of the evidence is in public domain.
Mr. Ketkar, if you have any evidence, kindly I request you go to the court, not to be a studio.
Much of the evidence is in public domain.
What is in public domain? Can you tell me?
Natasha,
any two charges? Can you tell me about
Mr. Sinha, I am requesting you. Let's get Kumar Ketkar to respond, and then Ajay wants to speak. Go ahead, Mr. Ketkar. You're saying there's enough evidence out there for those who've seen it.
I asked two evidence.
The point is, much of the evidence is already in the public domain. Hemant Karkare has submitted, Hemant Karkare has shown it to many of the correspondents. They were aghast, and I am told that that particular evidence was shown even to Mr. L.K. Advani. So it is not as if nobody knows.
Don't be subjective.
I am not
Sir, I
sitting here with
request you folded hand.
We know the evidence. Many
innocent, kindly give me two evidences.
Many journalists.
1, 2. Don't make subjective statement.
Okay, that's just his comment. That perhaps might be seen as hearsay, Mr. Ketkar. But Ajay, yes, go ahead.
Natasha,
how the scooter went there? How the scooter went there? Who owned the scooter?
They say that the BJP and the RSS says that the judges found them not guilty. Special Judge S.D. Tekle says that Sadhvi Pragya, this is the judge saying, cannot avoid the connection with the motorcycle registered in her name and used in the blast.
Investigation.
Once One sec.
One moment, Mr. Ketkar, one moment. I just want to finish making a point.
Can I complete the
In a
politics?
court of law. A court
Okay,
of
you're
law
all speaking at the
bases
same time.
Ample.
One
May I
sec.
just say
Natasha.
limited
Yeah.
point.
Shaina, one sec.
Natasha.
One moment, everybody. I just want to
In
finish
a
making
court
one
of law,
point.
you
Shaina,
don't
let me
have
make the
these
point.
kind
I'll
of
come to you.
conspiracy theories and hearsay.
Oh yeah, okay.
Can I finish, Natasha?
I agree with you there. That was hearsay. That's just that's something that Mr. Ketkar also
Natasha.
said that he's heard. But of course, that's it. We're not taking it as anything but hearsay. Yes, Ajoy.
Natasha.
Yeah.
So the first question is, Hemant Karkare submitted a 5,000-page report with the charge sheet. They were adequate evidence. They might keep arguing there's no evidence. They keep quoting a judge and the lies and the untruth they say. The judge, special judge in this case said, and Mr. Tekle for Shania NCG's for a record so that they don't keep commenting on national TV that the judge found nothing. Justice Tekle said that Sadhvi Pragya cannot avoid a connection with the motorcycle registration name and used in the blast. They will continuously tell, untruths on a national TV and keep spinning a myth. Whether she should have got bail, yes, it is good she got bail. Whether the NIA has been, compromised in this investigation, yes, they have been compromised. Whether Hemant Karkare was an honest police officer who did his job honestly, absolutely yes. And these people labeled Hemant Karkare as anti-national, like they will label you and me. So this question is this: why is the NIA compromised? Those are larger questions.
He's passing a remark
And why
against
is
the
the
organization
witness being made a
ideology.
minister in Jharkhand?
Ajay Kumar
Why
ji,
is the
can you
witnesses
quote
disappearing?
one statement by any RSS
Rakesh
person, any
Sinha,
Hindutva leader that
Ranveer Singh
Hemant
Mantri
Karkare
kaise ban
martyr?
gaye
We
Jharkhand
consider Hemant Karkare martyr.
Witness
We
will become
consider Hemant
minister,
Karkare
sir.
martyr. He was a brave policeman. Nobody said. Nobody in this
I'm
country
going
said
to,
he was
I'm going to take us
anti-national.
away from the politicians and those, of course.
You call them anti-national,
Who
sir.
called it? Who called it,
Call them
sir?
anti-national.
Okay, Sanjay Hegde, Mr. Vasan, I'm just coming to you.
Arey, sir,
Sanjay Hegde
shall I
is,
show you-
this
shall I
is
show
of
you the
course
record? Shall I
symptomatic
show
of the
you the
problem at
newspaper
hand. We get so caught up in politics, in just what to label this, what is the terminology that ought to be used, that again the real issues are often sidetracked. I'm just coming to you, Milind Joshi Rao. I'll just get Sanjay Hegde to respond to that.
Ma'am, firstly, I would like to state that all these discussions which are happening about.
Something gets.
Milind, one moment. Go ahead, Mr. Hegde.
Can I speak?
One moment. I'm just coming to you, Milind. Go ahead, Mr. Hegde.
Yeah.
Well, the problem when cases get politicized is that what you need is a separate speedy investigation and a separate speedy trial with an empowered prosecutor. The case that comes to my mind is the Jayalalitha case, where when in Tamil Nadu witnesses started turning hostile. The Supreme Court then stepped in, transferred the matter to Karnataka, got the Karnataka High Court to appoint a special public prosecutor, and then when that prosecutor, despite all the time that it took, prosecuted, the case went in a conviction at the trial, an acquittal in the High Court, and finally Supreme Court. The point is that you have to have a machinery which is independent of political pressure. Unfortunately, in this country, we do not have that. In the Jayalalitha case, the Supreme Court managed to transfer from one state to the other.
All right.
But here it is the National Investigating Agency.
Is that even possible, really, to have these agencies independent of political pressure? Yes, Joshi Rao, you haven't managed to get a word in. Go ahead. You were trying to make a point.
Yeah, first of all the panelists are not aware of the so-called witnesses turning hostile, because all the witnesses who have filed an affidavit was in the UPA's period. Immediately after the investigation, they approached the magistrate and turned on to the statements which were given in a coercive manner. The ATS, in a very coercive manner, had taken the statements from the witnesses, and they immediately went to the magistrate within next 15 days or so and appealed into human rights courts against the so-called statements. So the statement that NDA government or the current government has been influencing into the investigation is totally wrong, because all these witnesses who have turned hostile in UPA period. So can we say that UPA was the one who influenced all these witnesses? These panelists, they don't know the facts. Another thing which was there about Mr. Hemant Karkare is that he has claimed to have spoken with Digvijay Singh that Hindu organizations are terrorizing him. an IPS officer gets terrorized by Hindu organizations is a very
Okay,
absurd
that's
call.
going down.
And why would he speak with Digvijay Singh, ma'am?
Okay, at the
Why
same
would
time,
he
there's a lot else
speak
of the
with
kind of
Digvijay Singh?
evidence and the kind of sound evidence that Hemant Karkare also had.
Natasha.
Rohini Salian has also sort of spoken about that, the evidence. She said that she saw, and it really was an eye-opener in her own words. So really, what he had and who he spoke to, matter of another debate and altogether. But
Natasha.
Ajay, go ahead.
You know, look, my colleague from the other panelist from Abhinav Bharat was saying ridiculous facts. The fact is that this government dropped the Maharashtra control of organized crime. The evidence in front of a deputy commissioner of police is not accepted. You removed the most important section of the evidence gathering. Then you will say that you don't know the facts. So please, if you come on TV channel and start, was one of the witnesses made a minister? Yes.
Sir,
was
the
one
court
of the
of
witnesses
inquiry
killed?
by the
Yes.
army was
One of
conducted
the
during
witnesses who
UPA period,
took the
wherein
motorcycle. No, once I get me
98%
complete,
of
sir,
the
I didn't
army
interrupt you, so
officers
you'll have to
spoke.
listen. No, once can I complete, sir? I did not interrupt you.
Go
so
ahead,
let
go
me
ahead,
complete,
Ajay,
sir.
quickly.
One of the witnesses is killed. He's got association with the RSS and the BJP. The witness who took it, Kalsangra, that is also not an evidence. Colonel Purohit is having communication with Sadhvi Pragya, that is also not evidence. All the evidence collected is not evidence. Then run a banana republic, then there is no evidence.
Okay.
You drop the charges, the NIA says the NIA changes
No,
the
Ajay Kumar
whole
ji,
investigation,
I
and you
have-
say no evidence.
I have two
So the
basic
question
questions. I
again
have two.
Ajay, that's
All
I got to
right
make it
people,
quick because I want to get
the
Kumar
judge, the
Ketkar and
prosecutor,
Mr.
honest
Vasan.
people in
No.
this country, forget BJP
I
and
have two
Congress.
quick questions. Either Mr. Ajay Kumar or Kumar Ketkar can respond that question because both are on the same side. 6 years there was UPA government. They were serious about the so-called Hindu
And
terrorism
you
and
and all the
saffron
three
terrorism.
other three,
What
sir.
did you do? The Modi government is 2 years. I assume that your all accusations are right.
Okay.
I
Arey,
assume
why
that
are
all
you
accusations-
talking again?
What 6
Again?
years you spent? 6 years you spent. There could have been a speedy trial of Sadhvi Pragya. You could have hanged Sadhvi Pragya. Secondly, she had sale deed.
Yeah,
she has sale deed.
absolutely.
She has sale deed of the
Okay,
her
okay.
scooter.
You're saying that
Kumar
one piece of
Ketkar
evidence
lying.
is
Kumar
being
Ketkar,
contested.
either he
Okay.
doesn't know,
Can I
either
answer
he
that,
doesn't know
Natasha?
or he's lying.
Okay, no, hang on. Let's not get personal. Let's not get
It's
into
not
any
that personal
kind of
because
attacks. Okay.
you are making a statement
Okay,
against a
okay,
innocent
Mr. Sinha.
person.
Kumar Ketkar respond to that fact. Now we seem to be getting into a phase where I was going to ask Mr. Vasan that investigation during the
Well,
NDAs
the
was
point
this.
is-
This was the evidence. Then UPA years was this.
Well,
This
the
was the
point-
evidence. My evidence better than yours.
Well, the point is very simple. It is not a question of between UPA and NDA, BJP and Congress. It is a question of between Hindutva terrorist lobbies and anti-Hindutva or secular people who are attacking them. The lobbies of Hindutva are there in police, are there in bureaucracy, are there in investigative agencies. So it is not a question of UPA versus BJP-led NDA. The question is how the investigation is conducted or how it is diluted, how evidence is sidelined, because all of us, not only me, there are at least a dozen journalists who have gone through the entire case, and Mr. Karkare has actually disclosed many of the facts to us directly, has shown us the tapes, has shown them on computer. And he has not only shown to us, he has also shown to Mr. Advani. And after that, if they say that it is not in public domain, I think it is only surprising. And
It's not in public
Natasha.
domain, just a perhaps private conversation that's taken place there, which perhaps is a bit of a problem here. China, go ahead.
Quick point, Natasha.
public domain doesn't mean it has to be on the white.
Mr. Kumar
Public
Ketkar
domain does not mean it has to be
has
on the
his
internet.
own conspiracy
Natasha,
theories, and he
public
would prefer
domain
to
does
go
not
by
mean-
hearsay rather than evidence.
Public domain does not mean on the internet. What hearsay? Many people know, many journalists know what the evidence is.
Natasha.
Mr. Vasan, come in.
Not only
Again, we
Natasha,
come back
this is
to
not the first
investigation during this political
Natasha.
dispensation, investigation during that political dispensation. A point, of course, has been made that can we have these
Natasha,
agencies
just let me make
independent.
one small point.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to make one small point. Mr. Kumar Ketkar always has his conspiracy theories, and he believes that the hearsay and the content of information that he gets is much above what the Honorable Courts view as conclusive evidence. Please do understand that if the Honorable Courts had so much evidence against Sadhvi Pragya, for 8 years, why would this case have prolonged? She would have been convicted immediately, and she should have been if she was wrong. The fact is that you
Natasha.
had no conclusive evidence, and the Honorable Courts have come out clean after 8 years saying that there is
Natasha.
prima facie no evidence against her. A lady who loses her life to cancer almost,
Natasha.
fights valiantly. You have shown no sympathy and you have only
Natasha.
played this as a Hindu terror case. Terror is terror. Please, I repeat, don't get
Natasha,
caught.
We
another
talk
half
about
truth.
people languishing in jail. Of course, the point has been made. What about those thousands, lakhs of people around the country? Let's just go back in Malegaon, 2006, and just what happened there. Mr. Hegde, you want to make a point? 10-second point. I'm completely out of time. And let Mr.
There is no
Vasan.
case against her.
Mr. I just have to get Mr. Hegde.
No,
Go ahead, sir.
So Natasha, the
I quite
BJP and
like
RSS said there is no case against
Shanya's terrorist
BJP
terror
and RSS will say
formulation.
there is no case against her, but their charges are being framed. So look at the nonsense they are spewing on TV. There is charges being framed, but they will say that she's innocent. How can you frame charges if she's innocent? So how can you come on TV and start spewing this kind of nonsense?
Okay, Mr. Kumar,
if
you
you're framing
made that
charges,
point.
that means there is evidence against you.
Okay, we're just going to hear from Sanjay Hegde. Go ahead, sir.
And Natasha, what we have seen how Dabolkar's case,
The point about cancer, for instance,
right
now,
in the government. Dabolkar was murdered during UPA regime.
Go ahead, Mr. Hegde, yes.
See, the point about health and other factors. I know of several people who are above 80 years of are still in facing trial and in jail, who can barely stand up, and yet the government does nothing about helping them get out of jail. There are, in this country, we use prosecution as a broad spectrum antiseptic against everyone who could conceivably be involved in an incident or the other, whoever the investigator determines at that stage.
Mr. Vasan, come in here. Prosecution, broad spectrum,
and to have a
antiseptic.
hearing is a hellish experience. I think that it is time. I think it is time that prosecutors and investigators are held to certain reasonable standards.
Is that possible?
Let me make one point clear. Before the court, the evidence collected by ATS and subsequently by NIA has to be presented, and the court has to take both the evidence in view. It cannot take only NIA's evidence collected by NIA or by ATS in the compartment. It has to take a holistic view. That is one clarification. Second thing, any police officer who get influenced by A or B government is not a police officer worth the name. As a police officer, it is my duty to objectively investigate a case.
It is happening.
It's a very unfortunate. And if we find such people who are spoiling the investigation, they must be held accountable. Because you cannot have a situation when the trials prolong for 8 years or 10 years or 20 years, and at the end of the trial, people are acquitted. That's a very unfortunate situation.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm afraid.
Last 10 seconds.
10 seconds exactly.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know Ajay will want to now speak after
I
you.
think at least today there is a formal end of the narrative of Hindu terrorism. Now Mr. Ketkar and Ajay Kumar should concede that there was no Hindu terrorism, there is no Hindu terrorism. It was the 10 Janpath factory which produced this terminology.
No, there is only the RSS inspired terrorism.
Last comment, ma'am.
I disagree.
I would like to have a last comment, ma'am.
Get some training on the RSS before you comment.
Okay. No, I'm afraid I just have absolutely
you
no
also
time.
get China. The question again is, you continue to spew mythology.
Okay,
Your
okay.
people who are guilty, let them guilty. There is
one
no
last
point
comment,
of terrorism.
ma'am.
We have been saying that. You are the one who keeps saying yellow,
one
blue,
last
green.
comment, ma'am.
We spent the last half an hour in this story.
One last comment, ma'am.
to your vote bank
One
politics.
last comment, ma'am.
Arey yaar, you will continue. You go into police station.
I'm afraid I just have to wrap at this point because all of you are speaking at the same. I'm afraid we just have to wrap at this point. Thank you all so much for your time. Of course, a very politically volatile subject as we've seen over the last half an hour. The last word on it far from spoken. But thank you all so much for your time.